Good morning on this Thursday, October 30th. I'm Pedro Rivera.
I'm Shirley Nalica. Good morning, everyone. You're never more than 7 minutes away from weather and traffic. Let's get Thursday. It was a little, spritzy on my way in.
I was expecting more rain, to be honest.
Well, you were expecting more rainfall. Rain gets heavier midday throughout this afternoon. So, yeah, just be patient. There's an AccuWeather alert for periods of rainfall, gusty winds, and coastal flooding. And we'll see off and on showers throughout this evening. Currently, we're in the 40s and the 50s, 51 in Central Park, 56 in Toms River, and 46 degrees in Poughkeepsie. There is a dry pocket just north of the city around portions of the Hudson Valley, but additional moisture working its way in from the south. So a few light sprinkles near Monroe, Middletown, Thompson, and Olive, dry east of the Hudson. Now light rain pushing across the boroughs, southern Nassau County, East Orange and Linden. You have light rainfall, steadier rain picking up near Little Egg Harbor, moving towards Toms River. It's also breezy. Winds are out of the east, ranging from 9 to 28 miles per hour. These are sustained winds. We'll deal with gusts up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. That could even lead to some isolated tree damage and maybe a few power outages. Throughout this afternoon, highs in the upper 50s, lower 60s when it comes to rain timing. We'll see light to moderate rain this morning and then heavier rainfall midday throughout this afternoon. Showers finally taper off late tonight through tomorrow, but we still hold on to gusty winds for Halloween. Heather?
All right, Brittany, we do in Hawthorne. Now, this has been going on a couple of days. So Goffle Hill Road both ways between Beverly Road and Cider Mill Road. Repairs from an earlier crash. Grandview Avenue both ways between Goffle Hill Road and Lawley Place. That's where we do have the accident and the repairs as a result of that. George Washington Bridge not doing too badly. Lincoln Tunnel, it's very free and clear, but do keep in mind that those surfaces are wet, and then no major issues as you make your way to the Holland Tunnel. LIE West at the BQE, we do have reports that there is some spilled construction debris, so just use some caution here. You may see that debris on the roadway. And the Garden State Parkway going northbound, exit 139, we do have an accident. Alternate side of the street parking rules are in effect. Charlene and Pedro, over to you.
Brittany, so are we done with this, or are we still going to see remnants of the hurricane?
So it's not going to be a direct issue for us along the East Coast, but it could bring rough surf over the next few days as it passes us well offshore. But as you head outside this morning, the main concern is the rainfall, so make sure to bring the rain gear. This is just the beginning because we'll see periods of showers lasting throughout this afternoon. Temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. At the bus stop, the kids will need the umbrella. It's cloudy and wet. On top of that, get ready for a gusty breeze. Temperatures in the upper 50s by lunchtime. The lower 60s around pickup and after school. Winds could gust as high as 45 to 50 miles per hour. Temperatures around Suffolk County, Smithtown 62, the same in West Babylon, 61 in Brookhaven and Montauk, up to 62 for you. An AccuWeather alert for heavy rainfall, gusty winds, coastal flooding. Tomorrow, we slowly start to improve, so we're mainly dry, but it's still blustery for trick-or-treating. Temperatures near 55, and Saturday, breezy but not as windy as Friday, 57. Winds continue to taper off on Sunday. Overall, nice for the marathon with temperatures in the 40s around the start of the race. Heather?
And here, as you go onto the Garden State Parkway northbound exit 139, there is an accident there, and very close by, there's construction. Now we have Goffle Hill Road both ways between Beverly Road and Cider Mill Road. Repairs from the earlier crash, and Grandview Avenue both ways. Expect some closures right through that area, just in case you're heading over there into the area of Hawthorne. George Washington Bridge going inbound, no major problems to report there. The Lincoln Tunnel also doing just fine. It looks like they're picking up some construction right over here, and that's the outbound side of the helix. And the Holland Tunnel going inbound, that looks just fine. Alternate side of the street parking rules are in effect. Charlene and Pedro, over to you.
Brittany, Heather, thank you. It is now 4:41. Still to come here on Eyewitness News. Earlier this year at a youth basketball game, so you know they do the whole 6-7 thing.
Yeah,
but I think that means it's over, right? Like it's done.
Well, I mean, it's over for my youth, I feel, because I don't know what it means.
Yeah,
I think once we start talking Skrilla, right?
Skrilla? I've never heard of that.
I didn't know him either. I listened to it, and I like hip hop, and I listened to it.
Yeah,
it was not good.
I couldn't do it. I didn't understand anything.
That's when you know you're getting old, when you don't recognize the new rappers.
And it also means 6-7 is done. Like we're talking about it right now on local news and everything, and it's over.
And now they're never going to say it again.
They're going to be like, oh, these guys.
No, they're not.
No.
They're not. They're already over. They're on to the next one. What is this, Skibbity?
Skibbity.
I don't know. Skibbity that's over 2 now. We just said it on air.
We just said it.
Yeah.
All right, sorry guys. Just
ruining trends.
All the
Pop culture.
phrases today. I'm trying to think. The weather today is mid.
I wish the weather was 6-7. That'd be nice.
We had a high of 67 last week. But this morning, skies are cloudy. Also a wet start. 51 in Central Park. Winds out of the east near 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 28 miles per hour. It's going to be a wet and blustery day, so an AccuWeather alert. Temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. Toms River 57, 53 in Islip, and 46 in Poughkeepsie. It is already blustery. Onshore flow ranging from 2 to 18 miles per hour, but winds could gust as high as 40 to 50 throughout this afternoon. So make sure you have your outdoor decorations secured. This could also lead to some isolated tree damage. There's even a wind advisory for Ocean and Monmouth County until 5 this evening. And I wouldn't be surprised if more spots get added to this advisory around midday. And with this strong onshore flow, there's a chance for minor coastal flooding. We have coastal flood advisories along most of the coastline and for some of the back bays. That's until this evening. Up to 2 feet of extra water above ground is possible, mainly around high tide. When it comes to rainfall, additional moisture pushing in from south to north, but still watching a dry pocket east of the Hudson, but it's turning wet for everyone. Light to moderate rainfall, the heaviest rain now approaching Stafford and Toms River. Zooming out the bigger picture, showing this larger storm system bringing a wet morning all across the northeast, even stretching as far west as the Great Lakes. So let's look at the timing. This morning through midday, we'll see mainly light to moderate rainfall, maybe dry farther east across Suffolk County. But watch what happens this afternoon. That's when rain picks up in intensity. We'll deal with the heaviest rainfall midday throughout the afternoon hours. So it could be really messy and slow for your Thursday evening commute. This could lead to ponding and localized flooding. Later this evening around the 11 p.m. newscast, scattered showers begin to shift north and east of the city. And we finally get rid of most of this rainfall throughout the day tomorrow. On Friday, a mixture of clouds, maybe a few sunny breaks. Cloud cover will likely win out. There's a small chance for a sprinkle in the Catskills, but thankfully most of us will be dry for trick-or-treating. It will be breezy. You want to dress for the 40s and the 50s for trick-or-treating, and keep in mind gusty winds up to 45 miles per hour will make it feel even cooler. Looking ahead to this weekend, winds continue to taper off, and winds will be much lighter just in time for the marathon on Sunday. Great running weather for the runners and the spectators. On Monday, plenty of sunshine and a nice start to next week. Melissa, Category 2 hurricane now tracking north of the Bahamas. That's now projected to pass nearby Bermuda as a Category 2 early Friday morning. For us, an AccuWeather alert for gusty winds, periods of rainfall. Some of that could be heavy, especially midday throughout this afternoon. And tonight, down to 52. Heavy rain and tough travel early, windy to breezy. Make sure you have the sturdy umbrella because this is the type of weather that can push those cheap umbrellas inside out. Tomorrow, 55. Windy with times of clouds and sun, a shower far north and west. And for the remainder of the 7-day forecast, improving throughout this weekend. 57 on Sunday. Early next week, 60 on Monday, and the mid to upper 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. Heather?
All right, so let's talk about this. This is the Brooklyn Bridge, and no major issues to report here. Everything is moving across the span without any major issues at the Brooklyn Bridge, your Manhattan Bridge, Williamsburg Bridge, everything else checking in without any major issues. Garden State Parkway North, exit 139. That is an accident, so expect some delays there. In addition to that, you have 22 going westbound north of Broad Street. That's where there is construction, so you may experience a slowdown there. And then Goffle Hill Road both ways between Beverly Road and Cider Mill Road, repairs from an earlier crash. That's in Hawthorne. Grandview Avenue both ways. You can expect closures. Alternate side of the street parking rules are in effect. Back to you guys at the desk.
I should say my opinion on Skrilla does not reflect WABC's feelings on
I'm glad that you put out that disclaimer.
Just put out that disclaimer.
I'm so happy you did that.
It's important. At 4:51, before we go to break, Channel 7 is once again your home for the TCS New York City Marathon.
I will tell you now, I'm not going to listen to the song.
You should.
I don't know. I have no interest.
It's a song.
That's so good, right? We're taking you mile by mile, introducing you to some of the New Yorkers you're going to find on the course.
Says the Category 2 hurricane now pushing north of the Bahamas, taking aim at Bermuda, passing nearby late tonight through early tomorrow morning as a Category 2, but it stays well offshore. That could bring some coastal flooding, additional coastal flooding lasting throughout the weekend. This morning, it is wet and windy at the bus stop. Temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. We do get up to the upper 50s and the lower 60s, but a gusty breeze will make it feel even cooler. Highs in the 50s and the 60s all across the area, more so 59 in Poughkeepsie, 53 in Monticello. Ramapo 60 for you, Orangetown 61, and Bedford 59 degrees. Tomorrow dry but still gusty, highs near 55, and by Saturday breezy 57 degrees. Winds will be much lighter just in time for the marathon on Sunday. Here's a closer look at your trick-or-treating forecast for Halloween. Friday evening, temperatures in the low to mid 50s, more so the upper 40s in the suburbs, but dress for a gusty breeze out of the west ranging from 10 to 20, gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour. Heather?
So things are looking a little bit better on the Harlem River Drive as you go on to the northbound side, 155th Street. That earlier accident cleared, but you can still see that police are on the scene here. And I'm seeing a little bit of debris here in the roadway, so that could be the reason why the police are still there. But they did pull that car out of there earlier, and thankfully they just moved this camera for me. So it's showing you that the police are blocking the left lane, but that vehicle is long gone. Then you can always just hop over here to the West Side Highway, which is looking really great in both directions, and we have alternate side of the street parking rules in effect. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, thank you, Brittany and Heather. It is now 5:42. Before we go to break, here is another New Yorker you're going to find along the route of this year's TCS New York City Marathon. Giving back to the community and helping kids out.
I love that it has bright colors for the kids.
Yes,
awesome.
Oh.
It would have been really cool if he did like all gold on his side. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like how Master P used to do
Oh
it.
man,
you know,
like
so-
a tricked out.
Yeah, tricked out.
Hey, you never know. It might be coming.
Some rims on it? No. No.
That would be pretty cool.
He has evolved.
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
Still pretty cool. Still pretty cool.
I would like for this weather to evolve in time for Halloween. I think you are.
It will for the most part. So it's dry. That's good news for Halloween, but still windy tomorrow, but at least it's dry. Today we're dealing with both gusty winds and northeast winds near 9 miles per hour. Here's a closer look at temperatures: 51 in Bridgeport, also 47 degrees in Sussex. We have strong onshore flow ranging from 2 to 22 miles per hour, and get ready for gusts approaching 40 to 50 miles per hour lasting throughout this afternoon, really picking up wind speeds late this morning throughout the afternoon hours, and that could also slow you down, especially if you drive a bigger vehicle. There's even a wind advisory for Ocean and Monmouth County until 5 p.m. More spots could be added to that advisory. Bottom line, it's windy all across the area. And the strong onshore flow also bringing the chance for minor coastal flooding. There are coastal flood advisories all along most of the coastline, even including some of the back bays until this evening. Up to 1 to 2 feet of extra water above ground is possible during the high tide cycle. This morning, it's wet, and the bulk of the rainfall is light to moderate, but I am tracking some pockets of heavier rainfall. We're seeing that near Bridgewater, Mansfield, all across Hunterdon and Warren County, moving towards Jefferson, Dingman, even southwestern sections of Sullivan County and western Orange County. The bigger picture is showing all of this moisture wrapping around an area of low pressure near North Carolina. Also another low pressure along the Kentucky and Tennessee state line. That storm system is getting closer and closer, just bringing us a wet and windy day. Rainfall totals since yesterday approaching 1/10 of an inch, but we're going to add at least 1 to 2 inches to those totals lasting throughout this afternoon and this evening, hopefully helping out with our drought situation. When it comes to the timing, over the next hour or so, we'll continue to see widespread light to moderate showers. There could be a lull in the activity later in the morning, but rainfall picks up in intensity midday, lasting throughout this afternoon. It could be very heavy for portions of your Thursday evening commute, leading to low visibility, also ponding, and the chance for localized flooding. Close to the 11 p.m. newscast, scattered showers start to shift north and east of the city, and we get rid of most of this rain in time for Halloween. It's still cloudy in some spots, maybe a sprinkle possible for the Catskills, but mainly dry. For trick-or-treating Friday evening, we get rid of most of the clouds, but dress for temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. Keep in mind, gusty winds will make those numbers feel even cooler. This weekend, breezy on Saturday, but winds will be weaker compared to today and tomorrow. And on Sunday, much lighter breeze just in time for the TCS New York City Marathon. Pleasant for runners and spectators. Temperatures around the start of the race in the 40s, lower 40s by midday, getting into the 50s with mostly sunny skies. Nice and sunny too on Monday. Melissa, a Category 2 hurricane this morning, now pulling away from the Bahamas, and this will be taking aim at Bermuda as a Category 2 late tonight through early tomorrow morning, but staying well offshore. Today, just a messy Thursday, gusty winds, periods of rain. Some of the rain could be heavy, especially this afternoon and early this evening. Winds out of the east sustained 20 to 30, gusting up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. Heavy rain early, windy and breezy, late clearing, and tomorrow 55, mainly dry, but still breezy for Halloween. This weekend, a lighter breeze on Saturday and Sunday. Perfect weather for the marathon and just nice overall all across the area. 57 up to 60 on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Heather, earlier in the week when the weather was quiet, travel was a mess. So what's it looking like this morning?
It's pretty much a mess. Right behind me, you can see this mess that we just got a report about. So this is on the Gowanus Expressway, and the problem is the accident is on the Gowanus now. It is going to the outbound side, so that means it's heading towards Staten Island, but you'll see that we have problems on the inbound side as well. But that outbound side is an absolute mess. It looks like the entire thing is closed down, so you want to avoid that if you can. So again, that's the Gowanus Expressway as you head towards Staten Island. Harlem River Drive north of 155th Street, we had an earlier accident here. That accident has been cleared, but we still have the police on the scene, so I can only imagine that there must be some debris that's on the roadway. So you want to avoid the Harlem River Drive as a result of that. And then 24 going east right at 78 where everything starts to merge there. That is an accident. Alternate side of the street. Parking rules are in effect.
Morning. On this Thursday, October 30th, I'm Pedro Rivera.
I'm Shirley. Now look at the other big story today that we are watching is the weather.
An AccuWeather alert for periods of rain. Some of the rain could be heavy. We'll also deal with gusty winds and coastal flooding. But we can start with some good news. We do get rid of the rainfall in time for Halloween. Also really nice for the marathon. Temperatures are in the 40s and the 50s. It's 53 in Central Park and 49 in White Plains. But it is wet all across the tri-state. We did have a break in the rain earlier this morning around the Hudson Valley. That is not the case, and most of the showers are on the lighter side, but now a downpour pushing across Brooklyn, moving towards lower Manhattan and portions of Queens, and heavier rain near Hackettstown, moving towards Sparta and Delaware. Also Toms River, you have a downpour as well. There's strong onshore flow, winds out of the east ranging from 2 to 17, even 21 miles per hour. Winds will get stronger, gusting up to 40 to 50 miles per hour midday throughout this afternoon. There's even a wind advisory for Ocean and Monmouth County until 5 p.m. When it comes to rain timing, soaking rainfall this morning, maybe a lull later in the morning, but by midday and this afternoon, that's when we'll deal with the heavier downpours all across the tri-state that could slow you down for your evening commute, and temperatures in the 50s and the 60s. Heather?
Let's check out our subway status. The 1, 2, and 3 train suspensions because of a switch problem at Franklin Street. And then checking out the Whitestone Bridge up into the Bronx, we do have a crash. And this is how it looks as you go on to that span. So no major issues as far as the traffic is concerned on the Whitestone Bridge. Gowanus outbound 86th Street. This is a major issue. You can see we have a lot of activity here because of an accident. So that's outbound. That's heading towards Staten Island. So expect really heavy delays for you as you go to the outbound side. Inbound, you do see some rubbernecking delays. An alternate side of the street. Parking rules are in effect. Shirley and Pedro, over to you.
I feel like every day this week we've been talking about the Gowanus. Take a look at this video here from the Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters dealing with that heavy turbulence as they entered the eye of Hurricane Melissa in Curacao. The group collected critical data that helps improve forecasts and research.
That is the wildest video. I have never seen it from this vantage point.
Never.
And it just goes to show, I think Brittany said it, they're just heroes and have so much courage to go in and get that much needed data. Let's send it straight to Brittany with our AccuWeather forecast.
And you get dizzy just watching the video, so you can imagine what it feels like being on that plane. So this is the latest with Melissa, a Category 2 hurricane pushing away from the Bahamas now. tracking very close to Bermuda as a Category 2 late tonight through early tomorrow morning, but staying well offshore. For us, as soon as you step outside, it is wet and windy, so the kids will need the rain gear. Temperatures in the 40s, the sturdy umbrella because we'll deal with gusty winds approaching 40 to 50 miles per hour. By lunchtime, the upper 50s and the lower 60s by pickup and after school, but it's going to feel cooler once you factor in gusty winds. White Plains 60 for you, a high of 61 in Orangetown, 60 in Haverstraw, Mount Pleasant 60, and Carmel 59, Monroe up to 58 degrees. Tomorrow we are drying out, but it's still windy. Temperatures near 55 throughout the afternoon, getting down in the lower 50s. And Saturday, lighter winds, still breezy at times and not as bad as today and Friday with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. A closer look at your trick-or-treating forecast for Halloween. Temperatures in the city getting down into the lower 50s, more so the upper 40s in the suburbs, but still blustery winds out of the west ranging from 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 to 35. Heather?
All right, Brittany, let's go back to Brooklyn, where we do have this breaking traffic news on the Gowanus going outbound at 86th Street. There is an accident there. You can see it's a very active scene. All lanes are closed down. There are reports that 7 people were injured in this crash. So that explains all of this activity that's going along with it. Again, this is outbound going towards Staten Island. Inbound, you can see a lot of rubbernecking delays. The Van Wyck going north, this is a new accident reported right near Hillside Avenue, so you want to avoid that. 1, 2, and 3 train suspensions due to a switch problem at Franklin Street. An alternate side of the street parking rules are in effect. Pedro and Charlene, back to you.
All right, thank you. 6:10.
See, this might be the scariest sight for some New Yorkers. A massive mother pigeon and her 100 squabs towering over the West Village. This is a home here on Bethune Street. There's a mama bird, and then you see her there sticking her head out of the window, scaring all the kids and people walking by. The owners, who they say are fans of birds, of these pigeons here, they hired a designer to make it all from scratch. The mother's head and wings are made of foam and feathers, while the babies are a mix of hunting decoys, feathered toys, and cardboard cutouts.
Fantastic. I mean, I saw it on social media and I immediately was like, wait, did they do this for Halloween? But no, not necessarily.
Wait, what? This is just
it's not,
a thing?
This is just a thing.
Oh.
They just love doing this.
Oh.
So one of our colleagues went and shot it for us so that we could show you some of the oddities of New York City and what people are into.
No,
I mean, I'm not surprised. A pigeon, like, they're the star of the show here. So
yeah, I wonder if it's attracting more pigeons and then what the sidewalk
does it confuse
looks like.
the regular pigeons?
Oh,
or?
you're worried about the regular pigeons. I'm worried about the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Well, I guess both.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they should probably do if they did, like, I don't know, fake pigeon poop everywhere.
Well, no, they shouldn't do that, Pedro.
No?
No, I think it's probably
we're-
real stuff out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no.
But
And it's getting real, by the way.
it is getting real.
Yeah.
It is getting real.
no.
Well, that's the good, part about rainfall. It washes away
There you go.
Yeah, it cleans our
sidewalks,
streets.
Yeah.
cleans
Your
streets,
cars.
cars.
I do like that.
Yeah. The sidewalks, and we have a lot of rain across the area, and this is just the beginning. Temperatures starting out in the 40s and the 50s. It's 53 in Central Park, east winds near 8 miles per hour in the city. 47 in Sussex, the same in Montgomery, Newark up to 54 degrees. Strong onshore flow ranging from 8 to 27 miles per hour in Belmar, and winds will get even stronger later this morning throughout this afternoon, gusting up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. There's even a wind advisory for Ocean and Monmouth County until 5 p.m. That's where we can see the strongest winds gusting near 50. And this onshore flow bringing the chance for coastal flooding, minor coastal flooding possible. We have these advisories all along the shoreline, including some of the back bays. Up to 1 to 2 feet of extra water is possible during the high tide cycle. But this is what's waiting for you as soon as you step outside. Light to moderate showers, heavier pockets of rainfall near Sussex County and Sparta and Frankfort, moving towards Dingman, Bethel, and Middletown, even getting closer to Newburgh. Pulling out the camera view showing the bigger picture, there's an area of low pressure near North Carolina and Virginia, also another behind it close to Kentucky and Tennessee, and just moisture wrapping around this storm system, bringing us a wet and windy day. Rainfall totals since yesterday approaching 1/10 of an inch, even near 1/4 of an inch in Belmar, more the same near Caldwell. We're going to add to these totals. We could pick up an additional 1 to 2 inches, maybe even 3 inches of rain once all is said and done. When it comes to the timing, widespread showers over the next hour or so. There could be a lull in the city in spots east late this morning, but watch what happens early this afternoon throughout this evening. That's when we'll deal with the heaviest rainfall, and that could lead to low visibility, ponding, even localized flooding for your Thursday evening commute. Around the 11 p.m. newscast, scattered showers start to shift north and east of the city, and tomorrow we're mainly dry. Just still cloudy, a few breaks of sunshine. There's a very small chance for a sprinkle in the Catskills, but mainly dry. For trick-or-treating, we get rid of the clouds, but still dealing with gusty winds, clear skies, temperatures in the 40s and the 50s Friday evening, and it's going to feel even cooler once you factor in a gusty breeze. This low pressure moves off to the northeast Friday throughout this weekend. Still breezy on Saturday, but winds taper off just in time for the marathon on Sunday. It's going to be pleasant for runners and spectators. Temperatures in the 40s around the start of the race, the 50s Sunday afternoon. Melissa is a Category 2 hurricane this morning, pushing away from the Bahamas. That is tracking close to Bermuda late tonight through early tomorrow morning as a Category 2, but it stays well offshore. For us, a messy Thursday, an AccuWeather alert for periods of rain. Some could be heavy, gusty winds, coastal flooding, highs in the 60s, 52 tonight, drying out late. And tomorrow, dry but still windy, temperatures near 55 degrees. For the rest of the 7-day forecast, not as breezy on Saturday. Winds continue to taper off on Sunday, 60 on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. And Heather, I'm sure the rainfall is not helping out the commute.
No, not very much at all. Thank you, Brittany. Unfortunately, as you see right behind me, we do have this very serious accident, and this is in Brooklyn, and it's just a mess here on the Gowanus as you go onto the outbound side. The inbound side is also picking up some volume here. So the accident itself is at 86th Street. All lanes are closed down. Multiple injuries are involved. Last we heard, 7 people were injured in this crash. So again, that's going outbound, but you can see that this HOV lane is open on the inbound side. So inbound traffic is moving. I'm sure it's moving very, very slowly, but just another look at that there, just to give you an idea. So you want to avoid the outbound side of the Gowanus Expressway. On the Van Wyck North at Hillside Avenue, very slow traffic over here. That is because of a crash, and the 1, 2, and 3 train suspensions due to a switch problem at Franklin Street. Alternate side of the street parking rules are in effect. Pedro and Charlene, over to you.
All right, thanks so much. Before we go to break, Channel 7's once again your home for the TCS New York City Marathon.
Yeah, we're taking you mile by mile, introducing you to some of the New Yorkers you'll find along the course.
City 63 as well, Cranford 63, and Jefferson the upper 50s, Madison 62. Tomorrow, at least we're drying out. Temperatures a little cooler near 55, but still breezy for Halloween. Breezy on Saturday, but winds won't be as strong, and winds continue, thankfully, to taper off just in time for the TCS New York City Marathon on Sunday. But here's a closer look at your trick-or-treating forecast for Friday. Temperatures in the city more so in the lower 50s tomorrow evening, and outside of the city dipping down in the 40s. And dress for winds out of the west ranging from 10 to 20 with gusts up to 30 to 35 miles per hour. Heather?
Brittany, we have quite a mess working here in Brooklyn, and this is on the BQE as you go outbound towards Staten Island. We do have that crash, so it's right over here. If you're heading down the Gowanus, you want to go to the Belt Parkway, or if you're going to Staten Island, this will definitely affect you. Multiple injuries reported. We're hearing at least 7 injuries have been reported, so all lanes are closed on the outbound side. You can see how busy that is. You want to avoid that. We have rubbernecking delays as well. 24 East at I-78. That is an accident. And then we're looking at the Van Wyck going north at Hillside Avenue. Really slow traffic there, and that is because of a crash. So as you leave JFK and you're going up the Van Wyck, that will affect you, as you can see, with all of those brake lights. 1, 2, and 3 trains, you want to check on those because we did have that switch problem in suspensions. Whitestone Bridge to Bronx, we did have a crash. And then we're also looking at the Harlem River Drive where we had an earlier accident, 155th Street. The accident has been cleared away, and alternate side of the street parking rules are in effect. Charlene, over to you.
All right, thank you. 6:38, more news coming up. But before we go to break.